It's a Tuesday evening in a quiet suburb of New Jersey. A commuter sits at his kitchen table and tears open a standard white envelope. It's an account statement from EasyPass. Usually it's a $25 charge for a routine trip across the George Washington Bridge. But this time the number at the bottom of the page is different. $16,412. He looks at the granular billing metadata on the second page. The system claims his Honda Civic was clocked crossing the bridge at 3 in the morning. It also claims he was traveling at 400 miles per hour. He hasn't even left his driveway all week. Across the New York to New Jersey metropolitan area, thousands of drivers are opening the same white envelopes. They are finding the same unexpected billing errors triggered by a system-wide glitch. This is the promise of the smart city, a frictionless, cashless transit experience where human toll collectors are replaced by high-speed sensor gantries. In theory, the automated infrastructure functions invisibly in the background. The hardware is designed to simplify the logistics of the East Coast transit corridor. In reality, the invisible billing logic has transformed into a debt machine. Because the system is automated, the error is cascading. Late fees are being triggered by the second. License suspensions are being processed by an algorithm. Official notice of debt letters are being printed in a darkened, unmanned facility. And state officials have admitted a terrifying reality. They cannot identify the technical cause of the malfunction, yet they cannot stop the billing cycle. What happens when the automated systems governing our movement stop working but keep charging? Here is how the frictionless commute became a massive financial liability. For decades, the toll booth was a physical bottleneck, a line of cars, a hand reaching out of a window, and the exchange of loose change. It was slow, manual, and expensive to staff. Then came the promise of the smart city. The Metropolitan Transportation Authority and the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey began dismantling the booths. They replaced them with high-speed sensor gantries, steel frames spanning the highway packed with cameras and transponder readers. This is the EasyPass automated billing network. It is marketed as a frictionless, cashless transit experience. In this world, movement is tracked and monetized by invisible billing logic. Your car passes under a sensor at highway speeds. A digital timestamp is recorded, and an account statement is generated. There is no human oversight to verify the transaction. Instead, state-managed digital infrastructure handles the entire lifecycle of a commute. From the bridge crossing to the payment portal, the system is designed to govern the movement of millions of daily drivers. But the software is only as reliable as the physical hardware it's tethered to. To keep the traffic flowing, we traded the human toll collector for an algorithm that assumes the hardware is always telling the truth. It is a massive, complex web of utility grids and payment systems. It functions perfectly until the data starts to drift. The $16,000 bill isn't just a mistake in a database. It is a trigger for a sequence of automated legal escalations. In the EasyPass ecosystem, an unpaid toll doesn't stay a toll for long. It quickly transforms into a notice of violation. Within weeks, the software billing logic begins processing license suspensions. The algorithm doesn't care that the metadata shows a Honda Civic traveling at 400 miles per hour. To the system, the debt is an objective fact because the sensor gantry recorded a timestamp. Commuters call the help desk portals, but they find themselves trapped in a secondary loop. Billing error impacts thousands, the news reports state. Wait times on the phone lines climb to 5 hours. The help desk staff are staring at the same impossible data as the drivers. But the smart city infrastructure was never built with an undo button for a mass event. The frictionless promise has generated thousands of hours of manual administrative labor for citizens. They are forced to prove their physical location to a system that refuses to believe its own sensors are failing. It is a total loss of institutional sovereignty. State officials admit they are seeing incorrect charges across the New York-New Jersey metropolitan area. They admit the data is wrong, but they also admit they cannot identify the technical cause of the malfunction. And because the payment systems are automated, they cannot stop the billing cycle. The machine is functioning exactly as it was programmed to. It is effectively haunting the public with phantom debts that no human operator has the authority to delete. The glitch isn't a localized error anymore. It's a systemic rot. Across the country, the frictionless dream is hitting a wall of physical reality. In Waterbury, Connecticut, the water department declares a state of emergency. It follows a 6-day total water system failure. They are dealing with an outage that requires immediate emergency repairs. The physical infrastructure is failing while the billing logic keeps running. In San Francisco, the Board of Supervisors convenes a formal inquiry. They blast PG&E, calling for an inquiry into a public utility system that repeatedly failed in December. The loss of trust is palpable in the fluorescent-lit hearing room. But the answers provided by utility officials are technical and vague. Then there is South Dakota, October 31st, 2025. A 2-day IT blackout across the state's entire infrastructure. The cause isn't a sophisticated hack or a complex algorithm. Officials trace it back to mislabeled wires in a single government building, a physical labeling error that paralyzed a digital network. By February 11th, 2026, the situation escalates further. A cyber attack disrupts the already fragile local government payment systems. It locks the malfunctioning EZ-Pass logic into a permanent loop. The state-managed digital infrastructure is no longer serving the public. It is a series of municipal and utility infrastructure failures layered on top of one another. High-speed sensor gantries and automated utility grids are supposed to eliminate human error. Instead, they've automated it, scaling a clerical mistake into a regional crisis. And while the supervisors argue in hearing rooms, the debt continues to accrue. Today, the high-speed gantries along the East Coast are still standing. They flash a green light for every car that passes under the sensors, a signal that the commute is frictionless. In Waterbury, the water system was finally patched after 6 days of silence. In South Dakota, the mislabeled wires were organized and tucked away. But the secondary cyber attack in February locked the billing logic into a permanent loop. The state admits they cannot manually delete the phantom debts while the payment systems are compromised. For thousands of commuters, the 5-figure balances are still there. They are staring back from a login screen. In a darkened, unmanned facility, the hardware continues to function with cold efficiency. The industrial printers churn through reams of paper, spitting out thousands of notice of debt letters. The envelopes are stacked on the floor, waiting for a mail carrier to deliver them. The gantry flashes green again. The machine is just following its instructions.